Well, Mega, we did it. We're here. We're getting so close to episode 50.
Oh man, we're getting so close.
But
we've been doing this for what, 5 years?
Yeah, and
50 episodes.
And you would figure I would stop having technical issues, but you know how it goes, right? And I was all proud of this like chat that we have on our stream. And it's not working. So I decided we should well, you kind of decided, you orchestrated all of it. But let's have a guest instead. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Who did you bring to the party?
Oh man, I mean, I don't know, just somebody that maybe not too many people know. You know what I'm saying? But I want to put this guy on because you know what I'm saying, he does great things. You know what I'm saying? You may not have heard of the Iron Lords podcast. You may not have heard of King David. But you know what? You know what I'm saying? But today, if you lived under a rock, you don't know it about the Iron Lords or about my main man, King David, man. I really do appreciate it. It's our really official first guest because the guests that we've had, which was Xbox 448 and Livewire, they were a part of GRG.
Oh no, we had a dev on.
Who was that?
Everborn.
Oh, and Everborn.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
This is this is the reverse of that. This is the reverse of that because it was you're outnumbered last time around, and now I'm outnumbered. So yeah, that's how it's going this time around. So.
Damn, I'm getting old. Okay, my bad, Everborn. I apologize. That's right. Yeah,
Everborn. He forgot you, baby.
No, man. I can't forget Everborn. I got his magazine. I got his comics in there.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So
he lived right down the block from me. So.
Oh really? Yeah. And he's in the GRG Discord, man. Always posting stuff. So I can't ever forget about Everborn, man.
Yeah, man. I'm piss poor at being a good neighbor. I should have been at his cookouts more. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, for real. But no, you good. What's up, King David, man? Appreciate you coming on, man. You know what I'm saying? This is what we can do, man. Just get it here, get knocked out, man. Tell everybody about what you do, about the podcast, about everything that you got going on, man. You know what I'm saying? Which is quite a bit, man, but it's a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you, brother. Well, if you see all these little premium statues behind me, they are bigger than they seem. And they are highly costly. I had a dude hit me up and he was like, "Oh, those are like the ones you get in the box with the the premium." No.
Oh no.
Yeah, I stopped collecting those. I had got pulled over to the side by one dude and he was like, "You're looking like a fool out here. Let me show you." And he enlightened me. And then he did. While he enlightened me, he lightened my pockets. Hated him for it, but loved him at the same time. So that's right. KOS. That's King of the Statues. Iron Lords podcast Sundays at 1 p.m. We go live. I got Combat Talk with the King Saturdays at this weekend with Canelo Alvarez versus Triple G. I'm a throwback. Part 3.
Who you got on that?
You gotta wait for that.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I'm still doing my analysis. I do have people in camps. I used to box back in the days. I was good friends with Pernell Whitaker, rest his soul. And I have ties to the boxing community. So I find out what's going on in training camps, who didn't make weight, what's going on, what's really happening. So I use that, and then I also wait to the weigh-in to actually make my determination on what's going to happen because the fight can be won or lost on the scales. And usually that's a good indicator of what's going to happen in the fight. But this is going to be a good one. I think this is the last hurrah for one of them. And that's either, it can go either way. You know, that can go for Canelo and that can go for Triple G. See, they don't want to fight those real middleweights that's there, like David Benavidez and the Charlos. They don't want to fight those guys, so they do want to fight each other, make some money, and just get out the game. But also we have a lot of other shows, and we have lordsofgaming.net, which is our website. K Mega is telling you the truth. We out here, we go to all these shows, and that's how I met K Mega. And he quickly showed me how to respect his gaming powers.
God.
Yeah. So that's when I knew when he was taking on my boy Kid Smooth what was gonna go down in the room.
Oh my goodness.
You're the only person. I saw a dev, because remember we had the EA devs right there when you was playing the Madden. You are the only person that impressed the dev.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, she was impressed because I didn't lose them. I didn't lose a game.
Nope.
I went through everybody. There was people that was in place that was from PlayStation, from you know what I'm saying. I know that you seen Tim Dog, but you know what I'm saying.
I got that footage. I got that footage.
No, there was quite a few people that I played. I think I played about maybe 10 or 11 people between that time. Yeah, and undefeated. But everybody still hold it against me that I lost to Baron about like 6 years ago. But you know what I'm saying? I gotta get that revenge match against that brother. But yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I've been playing Madden for a really long time, but I appreciate you giving me a shout out on that, man. I appreciate it.
That was the most impressive thing that I've seen as far as, like meeting somebody. You didn't boast, you didn't brag, nothing. Right. So I guess that's part of his hand. He don't show you it. And then when you walk in the room, he slammed the door closed and he beat the brakes off you. Then you realize who you played. But when the dev looked at you and saw certain things that you were doing, and remember, that was the first time that, that was when the game was coming out.
Yeah.
You already knew how to motivate inside the game. And they change little things from year to year. But you had picked up on some things very quickly and you started exploiting what was going on. And she was just like, wow, and she pulled over the other dev and pointed at you. So I'm watching and I'm looking at the conversation and she's looking at you like, oh, this guy's gonna be a problem here. Good stuff.
Good stuff. But man, appreciate that, man. But yeah, gotta go to my partner in crime, man. We've been doing it for a minute, been doing this for a very long time. Don, how you doing, brother? Man, we did it. We got another guest on Devin the Gamer, man.
Yes, it feels good, man.
It's two gamers against the dev. So this time,
yes,
you outnumbered, bro.
Yes, I definitely outnumbered in regards to that. And it's funny that David was talking about how he's making the dev sweat. Little known truth: when someone starts seeing exploits in their game design, nothing makes a dev sweat more. They're like, oh shit. As soon as you start playing for your controller like one-handed, that's when they're gonna lose it. They're like, oh, I'm out, right? So that is one way, they can be impressed. There's two things that are happening. They're impressed, but they're also sweating bullets when you see that sort of stuff happen. So it's good to see. It'd be nice if we all get into one of these conventions one of these days, and and get past all the stuff that you see in the ether of the internet and all that sort of stuff, and get back to the roots of gaming and enjoying what we all enjoy as gamers. It's funny because a lot of times people put devs, like myself or others, on pedestals, and the reality is we're just like anyone else, right? We love games so much that we happen to be evolved at a higher level, right? And that's all it is. And that's what you're seeing from a lot of gamers now. That's why you see so many podcasts pop up, stuff like that, because what you're getting is gamers are beyond that passion of, sitting in front of your TV. You're starting to interact at that other level. And so it's cool. I really enjoy how we have this podcast that we can break down those walls, right? That's what Devin Gamer has always been about. So
no doubt about it. But all right, man, let's get started because we are kind of pressed for time because there are events that's going to be coming. So, and there's so much to talk about. But man, we will definitely touch on the Bonnie Ross stuff. Yeah.
Before you get too far, hey, David, can you turn down your mic and then I can equal both of you guys out a little bit here?
All right. Okay. Let me see. How's that?
That should be good. What about you, Dr. Kimega?
How about now?
We're good. We're solid.
Okay.
I was able to level you out, so you're all good.
Okay. Yeah, because I know I gotta I gotta almost look like I'm eating my mic because I gotta talk so close to it, but it's okay. All right. Well, let's get started, man. And the first things first is just the news that dropped. I seen it drop from Sarah Bond and then Aaron Greenberg. Shout out to them. And that was the N64 Classic 007 is GoldenEye is coming to Xbox. But there's a little caveat because I seen Rand drop a little nugget and it said that it's only going to be multiplayer on the Switch exclusively, and it will be couch co-op multiplayer for Xbox. I'm seeing people kind of go one way or go the other way, but for the most part, they're asking this question: why would Xbox agree to this type of situation? So I'm going to go to our guest first. David, what do you think, man? What? I mean, obviously, there's more to it than just Xbox is just happy to have the game on the console. So if you want to break down what you think of why the reasons why this type of deal may come out to be this way, go ahead and throw it at us. Let us know.
Okay, well, sometimes you got to make a little concessions, right? When you're doing negotiations, and everybody know the big fish was actual GoldenEye, right? To get it, we know that Nintendo's online multiplayer is type trash, right? So, do you think they're going to give you one of their coveted gems and also give you hand when it comes to the online service? So that actually minimizes or actually shows a flaw in their armor where you got to have a reason to buy it. And you won't buy it for Nintendo Switch if the superior online product is over here. A lot of those sales are just going to walk out the door. So this is how you can get some type of parity. You want that same feeling. Microsoft can market it. You want that feeling, that couch co-op, that was elbow to elbow. Remember those 4 boxes when you were playing? Good. You get the product on your service. I think it's a bigger deal down the line, right? And you had to make this concession here with this. Maybe they do get a Nintendo under the umbrella of the Azure Cloud service. Maybe Nintendo does let a couple of other things slide over, to Microsoft. So it's all part of a bigger strategy. Whereas Nintendo saves face, they don't lose their gem and multiplayer. Whereas you gotta have either or. You want that couch co-op, go to Microsoft. Or if you have your Switch, you can play online with your friends. They gotta have a way to market their stuff. So I think it was good on both ends. I think both dudes walk out of the room, showing face. And Microsoft does get a game that they wanted on their platform.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that. What about you, Don? Why do you think that this situation has come about like it is? I mean, I do agree with David on the situation of where Nintendo, and also there's also rumors that this could be one of the there's another game that's going to be coming out that could be revealing that Nintendo is going to bringing out a new console here next year, and this could also be another promotion for one of their classics to be on their new console. So, what do you think?
I think sometimes you have to sacrifice a pawn to get the queen, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's just what it really comes right down to.
You woke up feeling dangerous today, didn't you? All right,
but
get more guests in here.
But you know how it is, right? Like there's so much like historical pride, I think, in the industry from a publisher standpoint or a platform provider standpoint, and sometimes you need to take a step back and look: is this little sacrifice worth the bigger bag? And I think that's, people try to analyze Phil all the time, right? But I think this is something that Phil is good at, right? Is he able to see, like, is it really worth this where I can have this, right? Like, and a lot of times people criticize Phil for being the nice guy. Well, guess what? Being the nice guy allows him to have this conversation, allows these sort of negotiations to happen. In the reality, it's really not that big of a deal. Like, okay, cool, you have to play couch co-op. So you get the original version of GoldenEye on your Xbox. Last time I checked, that was better than what I had before.
Yep.
Right? And then everyone's always looking for what they're going to get out of the deal. So what is Nintendo going to get out of the deal? They have the game. Oh, they can re-release it on their consoles. There's no like red tape sort of issues with Rare and all that sort of stuff. And we can do multiplayer, something that we really are kind of behind the ball for as far as the rest of the industry is concerned. And you're able to kind of save face with their customer base. I don't see this as being a lose-lose. And to be honest with you, Nintendo's in kind of that interesting situation, love or hate them, they complement the competition out there right now, right? Like they're not, person that buys a Switch doesn't really take away from a PlayStation customer. person that buys a Switch doesn't take away from being a PC customer or an Xbox customer. Nintendo's really good about carving this niche where they can just be the other guy that offers something unique. And so I think it's a win-win across the board, man. It's a win-win.
Okay. Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. I you know how I feel about social media. Like a lot of times, social media just takes things way out of context. I mean, it is one of those things. It was the flagship shooter at its time on Nintendo when Nintendo owned Rare, regardless of whatever the negotiations were. It will be on Xbox, and who's to say that it might be exclusive just at this point until maybe when the new Switch or whatever that the new console for Nintendo arrives, and then maybe a year later they might say, "Hey, guess what? Online is available." We just don't know what all is in the negotiations, but I still think it's a good thing. I mean, because of course the game is going to have all these enhancements, and I mean, I'm just going to be honest about it. Like, I mean, it's going to be great for nostalgia reasons, but it's not like I'm going to be playing this game over anything that's coming out new. So in the time being, so if this game, because I don't actually have the time frame of when this game is going to eventually drop, I think it's going to drop sometime this month, maybe. But let's just say that it drops sometime next month. Well, I'm going to be playing Gotham Knights. You know what I'm saying? Instead of, you know what I'm saying? I'll get a little bit more time in there. So I'm just glad that the game is is coming out, and of course there will be another 007, and then at that point in time, Microsoft will have a lot more leverage compared to going forward. So maybe this could be one of those concessions, like you guys are saying, that hey, for this game right here, we want to have the multiplayer online. For the next game that will drop, then you'll have all the bells and whistles, and we'll concede a couple of things here on the Nintendo. So I mean, I don't look at Nintendo and Xbox anywhere near like I do PlayStation and Xbox. I think that the relationship between Nintendo and Xbox is pretty good. It's pretty solid. So just now looking at this whole situation between Sony and Xbox, I think now with Jim Ryan doing all these low blows, I think that is starting to separate a little bit. But overall, I'm not tripping about it too much, man. I think that it is what it is, man. This is an old classic. It's just good to have it on here. It's no different than like with Turok. There were so many people excited about Turok, and then after a couple of weeks, nobody talked about it anymore. So so that's just kind of how I
arrow in your quiver, right?
Yeah. It's just another, another great game, good for nostalgia reasons. But yeah, no, I mean, it's not like this is a full remaster, remake, or whatever. It's just it's the same game. It's just going to look a little bit better. It's going to perform better, and it's going to have 4-player online. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, that will be cool, but it's not the end of the world. All right. Did anybody else have anything else they want to address to that before we move on?
No, I think it's just good that we preserve these games. Not let them go into there. Like, I know Mega's got children are already grown up, but my unborn children, I can say, hey, man, this is where I started, right?
Right.
And the fact that this stuff continues to go on with especially on the Xbox platform, that you're able to essentially, I'm not worried about when the next Xbox comes out or if I switch over to PC, wherever I go as a gamer, that I have these opportunities to, show a younger generation where we came from. Like I can show them like early game mechanics. Like GoldenEye was, it did things like, people give a lot of credit to Halo, and Halo gets a lot of credit for being one of those popular first-person shooters on the console. Before there was GoldenEye, right?
Yeah.
And that was considered an anomaly. Well, they also introduced a lot of things like scoping and stuff like that you see on every modern day shooter now. So it's important to kind of, I think, preserve this stuff.
Possible before that on console without the N64's controller, right? That controller was a revolution within itself. It ushered the analog, towards the masses, because if you're playing on PC, you had a mouse and keyboard, and you was using a lot of these areas that we don't get a chance to use from regular digitals, the digital inputs. So when they released that, we saw how Nintendo thought ahead and Miyamoto crafted the console behind the controller first. So it came with the controller first, then it was the console. So that was really different in how he wanted to utilize that controller. GoldenEye was a byproduct of that, and we saw how great that turned out. And like K-Maker said, couch co-op is going to be a nostalgic thing. And, for game preservation, I don't think none of us, because Microsoft's lineage is PC. So, and they know about emulators and of the such, and anybody that is a fan of Microsoft early on knows where it comes from. So game preservation, you pretty much feel good when you purchase an Xbox product. Going forward, your stuff is transferred in. Little side note, I picked up another S, and I got rid of the last digital Xbox One in the house, right? And when I still get dumbfounded on how easy it is to attach my account, get into my stuff, and all my stuff is there. And it says, it'll take this amount of time to load in your games to your hard drive and stuff, and you can play this stuff now that's available. And I said, wow, the foresight with these guys is incredible. The ease of entry, the barrier is nullified. So preservation is there, barrier entry is there, is removed. Is a good space. They're in good space. So, to bring these old games over to you, yeah, I know why they did it, man. And it's a smart move. It doesn't hurt anyone. It's real good stuff.
Right. It's a really good move. Like I said, the internet just kind of goes they get too jumpy. I mean, we'll definitely get into about with Bonnie Ross and all that, but I can't wait to hear what you and Don has to say about that, because me and Don talked about it briefly, but I mean, David, I haven't really I mean, I've heard some of what you've said, but I want to get some more about that. But before that, we want to get it. We're gonna have to be a little bit slanderous on this one. What I'm saying? Babylon Fall will terminate its service on February 27th, 2023. Now, I don't think anybody in here could say that Babylon Fall looked like it was going to be, a instant hit, because obviously it looked dated. It just wasn't the best look from Platinum Games. But I kind of want to add a little bit to this, because even if the game might not have succeeded, I feel that timed exclusives at this point in time in gaming is kind of hurting smaller titles from even showing their full potential. I'm going to go to you on this one first, Don. What do you think? Are you with me on this? But or do you think another way about this? Because I mean, I'm going to bring it to the fighters aspect, because I see too many fighters die on the vine. Because I double, triple dip, sometimes quadruple dip. What I'm saying, when it comes to certain fighters, if I like them that much, and it doesn't matter which platform I play them on, if they are exclusive, for the most part, especially timed exclusive, if they're not a first party, if they're a third party, they usually kind of die on the vine if they're not a well-named title. And this kind of falls into the same thing. Even though I'm not saying that this game is going to be great, but I mean, it's just not it's I'm saying, this game just came out a little bit over a year ago, and it's already gone. So what is your thoughts, man?
Well, I think it's harder to break into the industry than ever before, right? You have a flood of games as a service, right? The question is, are we hitting critical mass on that, right? And then when you hit critical mass on that, do you have a different approach, right? More traditional approach, like release on all platforms all at once, like a traditional third party. It just comes down to money, right? Like I think what people need to understand with third party developers is when they're making a game, their main goal is simply to make money. So when they're offered a deal from a Sony or Microsoft, Nintendo, let's say Stadia, throw some of the services out there as well. When they're offered a deal, the argument is, well, I'm missing out on X number of sales, but not releasing on this platform in the strongest time frame, which is that first 6 months of releasing a game. And these are our projected sales, and so you have to at least do better than that for me to say, hey, I'm not gonna release on that platform at first. And if that's what the publisher is getting, they go, okay, cool, we're happy. Does that make sense? From a publisher standpoint, they're totally happy. But if it starts becoming like, okay, the potential sales is greater than that, then we misjudge that sort of thing, and then that where it becomes a little bit problematic in regards to all that sort of stuff. And I think the ether too is, I mean, there's another component of that. Okay, I've talked about the publisher, but you also have the gamer. The gamer's perception of that, they're not in the day-to-day meetings. They're not. They don't have the bag. They don't have any of that sort of stuff, right? All they have is a certain amount of time they have set aside to play a game. And let's say they're super hyped about a game, but a year comes down the road, they're hyped about different games, right? And so the question is, what are they missing out on? Is it affecting the studio's bottom lines, or is it affecting their perception with the gamer, say as a studio? Because sometimes there's a negative effect that I'm seeing out there as well. So it's kind of a hard thing to judge. But in general, I don't think these deals are the future of the industry. In regards to that, I think as the pie grows, I think it's going to become harder and harder for these platform providers to provide an exclusive deal that's not more tempting than what's out there on, you have streaming platforms, you have, PCs always, I mean, all these console platforms are growing too as well, right? So everything's growing, that pie is growing bigger. It becomes harder for Sony or Microsoft or Nintendo to kind of wall that off only on their console, because that potential sales is so much greater. So I mean, in general, I think it's gone on the way out, but we'll see. We'll see how much money they're willing to spend to make it happen. So
okay, all right. What about you, King? What you think?
I think debt dictates that whole philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to recoup their money at what point in time? Because if you want to go into something for the long haul and your debt isn't that high, then you're able to hold out for the best deal or the best visibility for your product, right? And who's knocking at the door, right? So sometimes you get wooed by one company, and the company says, "Well, we can do this for you, and we can do that for you, but what we want in return is this." So does this stuff check mark all your boxes? Because you have goals. So if all your goals are hit, like you said, K, make all the goals is the publisher, everybody is over the moon over it. That kind of dictates where you're gonna go. Now,
Right.
if you can hold out and you say, no, I have higher aspirations for my game, because I've noticed that timed exclusives on certain niche games or genres makes it die out over a period of time. And what you hope is, after this period of time, when you release it to another fan base, it reignites that whole excitement to it. But sometimes that doesn't happen, right? So the zeitgeist right there is lost on the first initial launch for the 6 months. So be it good or bad, whatever reviews you do get is going to be a stigma, or is going to be a boon towards the release on the next console.
Let me ask you this, King. What if, instead of being year exclusive or 2-year exclusives that we've seen in the past, that this stuff starts becoming 6 months, 3 months? I can see that happening down the road, right? Like, maybe as an alternative.
Yeah, with the event of these services, yes.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the services will dictate that as well. How successful the platforms are, because they need reoccurring content. So you will see devs more reluctant to sign these 2-year deals where, no, man, Game Pass is giving me this bag, or no, PlayStation Plus service is giving me this bag, or you have different people. Like, we saw Netflix just jump in and get a big title. So
yeah, they did. That's right.
They want in. So it's not advantageous for you to lock yourself off for 2 years. That 6-month cycle might be more to the liking of any developer, and it also keeps you new longer.
Yeah, keeps you in the zeitgeist, right? Like, you have that momentum, that 6-month taper, and then boom, now you're on Xbox, or now you're on Game Pass, or now you're on Stadia, or now you're on Luna, and whatever other services that come out down the road. Like, it just keeps you relevant, it seems like. So.
Yep. Right. And that's, to me, is where because I had this conversation with Brap, and it seems like Brap always want to pop up when I say something that just that he wants to try to contradict it. But I mean, you can't take away the fact, especially when you have hands-on experience, understanding when you look and play a game like, let's say, for instance, DNF Duel, which is a fighter, right? And that's only exclusive on console-wise on PlayStation. That game is got only 154 current players playing that game, and that game is less than 6 months old. So, and that game was not $60 or $70. That game was $50 when it launched. So that to me, especially as I'm a fighter fan, it hurts me. It hurts the soul because it's not a bad title. Even they're like Guilty Gear Strive. That's a very popular game, Evo wise. But and the game has sold over 1 million copies, but the game concurrently only has 300 to 400 people playing it. That's not good. And because that game is locked behind timed exclusivity, and even though they got the bag, the fact of it is that you're leaving your game high and dry on a vine. And it's like what you're saying, these relationships between certain platforms and others. I think these services is going to kill that eventually. It has to. And fighters and other games like this is going to have to go to a free-to-play model, or if not, go to where they're cross-play or cross-platform, I should say.
I think you're right. Excuse me. I think you're right on that aspect, but I also think fighters are a dying breed. It thrived on elbow to elbow, having that visceral contact, and I have an idea on how to bring back that feeling with online, and to reignite that lost interest, because what you said, 150 players or 300 players consistently monthly, those are the hardcore. Those are the people that love the game and want to play anybody and looking for all challenges, trying to get better. But they don't care by just seeing an avatar on the screen, Ryu versus Ken, whatever. They don't care. What we need to bring back, and this is my idea, and if anybody steals it, God bless, I'm coming for you. Ship your fighting game with a camera.
Oh, okay.
And that way, when you pop up on the screen, you get to see your opponent, and your opponent gets to see you.
Old school arcade style.
Yes, you immediately there's a level of aggression, right? Because you go, I'm not gonna let this girl beat me. What are you, crazy? Right? Or this kid is like 10 years old. There's absolutely no way he's gonna beat me. Your level of arrogance is gonna pop up. That's a way to bring back the engagement level in fighting games. So this is just a mini rant for me, because I come from the fighting game genre, and to see it dying in the way that it is. I saw Tekken give you story. I see they give you more fluidity. They give you so much, but still getting back so little, and it's dying. And they don't know how to reignite it, and how we did it before. Excuse me. Was being elbow to elbow, seeing your competitor, seeing your opponent,
having your stack of quarters on top of the machine is what you're saying, right? yeah, right. Yeah, like you got this kid comes up and only has 2 quarters. Like, who's this guy, right?
They usually just wait. They usually just stand and wait because it's the headbangers that stand there that's putting them quarters right there on the end of on the front of the arcade. But I mean, I like that. I like that premise. I like that thought.
Well, it's no different than Fight Night.
Right. No, it's no different than Fight Night.
So we when we do streams and when we would do fighters, we would be streaming, but you would have us broadcasting at the same time we're playing fights, right? Like
that's why I hate Mixers is gone. Yeah, because Mixer was great about.
Oh, that reminds me. I need to give you that stuff for co-streaming.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And we're bringing co-streaming back, but but there is an element to what you're saying. There's to some sort of truth. I don't know if it's completely dying. It hasn't seen the same growth as a lot of other industries. I have this philosophy in gaming. It could be wrong, but I don't think genres die, right?
No.
I just think they get overshadowed by what's the next popular thing. Does that make sense? And then all of a sudden you get like a game like a Cuphead or something like that. It's like, well, side scrollers are awesome. Yeah, they've always been awesome, right? But we just haven't had a good one for a while, or there's other games that were more popular at the time, right? So I feel like the same thing is with fighters, right? There's only a potential of certain ones that will hit that
Street Fighter,
hit that peak,
Tekken,
right? The evergreens, right? Tekken, Street Fighter, Killer Instinct. However, like I guess what David's talking about is on the flip side, right? The tail end of it, right? That getting people to linger a little bit longer with the genre and stuff like that. And I don't know. To me, I don't think the camera idea is bad, but I also think having consistent on character release is kind of huge, right?
Right.
And you're just having more elements, because every time you have a character, it's like a new level, right? In a fighter. So I don't know. That's just kind of my take on it. So
right. Yeah. There's
free to play model.
Right. Free
like
to play is definitely what it is. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, but see, the level of headache that would introduce into that space. We all want that first feeling of when Street Fighter hit, right? Or when the first time you walked in an arcade and you saw Mortal Kombat, and you want the world to go crazy for your genre, for the genre that hits your hair. Right. We just haven't had that, right? Other genres is popping off. You like, man, this multiplayer, combat thing, this is going crazy. I would like my genre to do that, and I don't think they die, like you said. I think they actually probably go dormant for a little while.
Yeah.
Until something else can reignite that spark. But what I do see is a lot of stagnation, because it's a lot of same. So they have to do something really revolutionary in that space in order to bring people back to it. And I don't think that's being done.
I mean, to your point, we've seen that before on fighters, right? So like it started off with the side scrollers, right? So like SNK did a bunch of side scrollers along with Capcom, and that was like the first wave. And then we got into more of a 3D type arenas, 3D fighters like Tekken, Virtual Fighter. That created a whole nother wave, a whole nother genre, right? And I'll say
Gladiator.
I'll say this KI started a whole new genre where something was considered not intentional in a lot of fighters, which is the combo system on the first earlier fighters, right? Where people found exploits to be able to set up these combos, and then they leaned into it, right? These are the type of things I think give it like a vitamin B shot in regards to, and to your point, like they're very competent fighters that are out there today. However, are they bringing something new to the space to shine a light on it, right? They're good. Not saying they're not, but can you be good and unique is the key question.
Yes.
And so so that's my take.
No. I was just saying, I think Street Fighter 6 is going to be the litmus test. I think too, because that's going to be the first fighter that's going to be cross-platform. And that's one of the things that they have to do, I think, especially for the niche fighters. They have to go free to play, or they have to go cross-platform. If not both, have rollback netcode, and they also have to have lobby systems. I think a lot of Japanese fighters have a problem, and I don't know why. But for gamers in the West, that's that part of, on top of, let's just saying, you're doing the camera thing and everybody's there in a lobby, and we're talking and chatting while other people are fighting, and that adds more, just kind of like a couch co-op when you used to have people come over to the house and y'all all playing a fighter, and then you got people talking this way, talking that way, and they're excited about what's going on, if there's some cool moves going on. That's something that needs to definitely be in every fighter as well. And then my last point on this is, what also needs to be done is that they got to stop. And this is with pretty much everything, shooters, everything. The pro scene has to stop dictating the market. They have to. I understand that they're a big part of it, but they got to stop, because casuals don't give a damn about that.
You're
they
talking
only
about outside of fighters,
play.
though, on that, right? It's not just fighters. It's just anything.
Yeah. Shooters. Yeah, it's everything. Like the pro scene has got too much influence. For every time a pro fighter, a pro gamer has got a problem with something, they take it away, and then they take it away from the casuals, and then these seems like these developers are sitting back, or these managers of these developers are looking like, well, what happened? This is exactly what we were told to do to change it. The casuals don't give a damn about that. They're like, no, I like the way the game was playing right here. And now you making the game extra sweaty. I got nothing but these pros kicking my ass daily, and then they put the game up and then they go into something else. Well, they got to stop that.
The thing with that is this. that's market. They are marketing this game, right?
Yeah.
So you want to keep them there. If they got 1 million subscribers, you want them playing your game.
No, I know that. Yeah, because they're paying them. Yeah, right.
Exactly. But also the bag from the tournaments, that stuff there. So I feel sorry for the casual. I feel sorry for the little Timmy going to the store and he get an update and his favorite character got nerfed. I feel sorry for you. But again, Timmy, if you want to make change, get 1 million subscribers and go dictate taste.
God. I just can't.
He says it like it's easy.
Because I know, right? Because you know what? That's the whole reason. Like, I have this conversation with people on Fight Night that they're like, man, I used to love fighters, but man, I don't want to go in there and constantly get my ass kicked. And usually, they're scared to take a loss. But the sad thing, this is the thing too that bothers me too, because like I'm kind of like the I play everything, but I'm not the master of everything, pretty much. And so, like, when I do get the opportunity to play against somebody, let's just say, like, oh my God, he's got 3,000 wins. He's a level like Tekken God or something or whatever. And I get a chance to play them, and I beat them, or I lose, and the matches are close. They quit, or I never get a chance to replay them, because they're such babies, because they don't want to get their things to drop. So
it's those people that, for example, only play one character and
they don't want to. Like, they want to be pro themselves, but they don't have the million. You know what I'm saying?
No. I believe the correct term is bro. They're more bro than pro, right? So
they're more bro than pro. Yeah. So, but I mean that's one of the things that the casuals tell me the most is that they like a couple of things. Like, okay, so I said that was my last point, but now I got to give one more. Okay, so I bought a game called JoJo Bizarre All Star R. Yeah, it came out last week. It was from it was a remake from a PlayStation 3 only game. Really good, really good game. But you start off with 50 characters. That's great and all. And I think that was one of the points that they were trying to attract people. Like, look at all these characters. But I think one part is missing too, is because a lot of the casual market likes to go in and maybe want to play online, but maybe work. One thing that I do hate that went away is that you work and build and earn your characters. Like, for instance, like, let's just say that you start off the game and you get 12 characters, but there may be 30 characters in there, but you play the story mode or you play their individual mode and unlock them. I think that's another way to engage, to do that. I think that's fun. And I know that
this generation ain't got no stuff like that.
I know, but I'm just saying, okay.
They just want a season pass. I want to play. I want to spend my money. I don't care.
I know. I know. But you know what I'm saying? Can a brother dream?
David's like, man, they do microwave macaroni and cheese. They don't got time for this.
What I was saying is, I said, I can see through David's eyes through the glasses, and I'm saying it to myself. I'm gonna use my real name, Kareem. You know better. You know better. Ain't nobody got time for that. But I still think that would still be cool. I knew better.
And you know what it is? It's gotta have it now mentality. We're so speed. I mean, the internet is here, right? So they're using it in a fashion that is beneficial to the wallet of the shareholders. To be honest with you, unlocking characters through playing it over a period of time. Yeah, that's good for us because we don't invest more money into the product. All we got to do is just play the product that we have in front of us, and we will get more out of said product. But here's this. Now, how can we do this as from a business standpoint? Give them the product, but we can introduce a season pass where they can get unlockables if they continue to play the product. And also we can customize that where it's not pay to win, but it's cosmetics where they can spend more money in the product. I can see where that's going. How you want it is too old for us now.
I know. But I know. But the services will definitely help these fighters as well. And games like Babylon Fall. Like, there's no reason. And see, this is why I know that Sony just kind of threw their service out there. Like, they talked about it. It was like, man, we got to do something quick, because you would definitely look at Babylon Falls to say, look, man, this is a game that people will be looking at, maybe think, they're not going to spend the money for it, but they'll look for it and say, hey, this game is in PlayStation Plus. How about we go ahead and just give it a shot? And that not only will help Babylon Fall, games like Babylon Fall, and other live service games, but it definitely will help fighters as well.
Well, so, I think what that really does is services really get rid of the reviewer, right? Like, they're out of a job.
True.
Like, I hate to tell you, you're out of. It's not the other person on YouTube doing a review that's stealing your lunch. It's things like Game Pass, things like services like it. Because like there's no barrier to entry anymore. Like, I don't have to listen to this person's opinion. By the time I go find the article, I can already have that game downloaded or playing from the cloud, and I could judge for myself. Because we've all, I think everyone here has lived through the Cisco and Ebert years, right? Where like, why did this person hate this movie, right? Like, Predator was a badass movie, right? Like, but the thing is, that, they have a certain worldview, and then they project it out there. But the reality is that's not everybody, and gaming's no different, right? And gaming's, I think, varies even more because of people's individual skill level, the genres they're into, things like that. So when you start putting control in the eyes of the gamer, you start giving the experience firsthand. I think they form their own opinions. So
right, and then good case in point of this is like Saints Row has outdone The Last of Us, and The Last of Us has got a much better review than Saints Row.
Oh, really?
Saints Row is outsold. Yes.
I didn't know.
Saints Row. The Last of Us, from what I read last week, was Friday. It only sold what? It only sold half of what Saints Row did the week before that. So, I don't know.
You're talking about a new product versus a remake of a remake product.
Yeah.
So $70, right?
Also, the product is available on multiple places, opposed to one product being on one platform.
Well, that's true too, but it's also the fact that it's that, like what you was talking about with like reviews and things like that. Like, people would try to wait. But no, they get what they want. So that's what that was the point that I was trying to make. Right.
Yeah, a new experience.
Right.
If the people that brought the Last of Us nostalgic for some,
yes,
and the new consumer for some others. So I don't think that the numbers will be very high. That's my opinion. I think they.
Oh no, I said that. I've been saying that.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't see it. Like, I mean,
it's not even a knock on the product. It's just
No.
I mean,
it's not.
No, it's just put it under the heat lamp again, right? Like, that's what's going on.
I'm gonna get it when it's at a proper price. I think they're out of touch with the retail.
What's the current price of it?
$70.
$70?
Oh yeah, well then that could have been predicted.
Yeah. So if you're right. At let's say $39.95, right? This and that's never gonna happen. But let's say $39.95. That's such an impulse purchase. You see it and you're like, what can go wrong? Right. And you get it, right? And you're like, wow, this game is so good, or the experience is so good, or I remember it being this way. I think Black Friday you're gonna see a spike in sales.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's when people will buy it. Right. That's what I'm waiting for.
You don't think it's going to be bundled with the console by then?
I'll wait for the PC version.
No. Actually, I don't think The Last of Us is going to get bundled with the console.
Oh, really?
God of War might most likely get bundled.
Oh, you think they're going to use that? Interesting.
Yeah, because it's right there time. Because I mean, okay, so listen to my prediction on that before we get to the next topic, the last topic. I said that God of War will still sell very well, but
Of
I'm
course.
saying that it will not sell like it would if it came out during tax time.
Thank you.
Or during. I said that. I said because Black Friday, it's got God of War is going to have so much competition because there's going to be people that hasn't got Call of Duty, hasn't got Madden, hasn't got NBA 2K, hasn't got Gotham Knights, hasn't got anything else that they might have had on their radar going into into Black Friday, and then God of War is $70. People are going to be looking at this and saying, "Look, man, I could pay $70 and get one game, or I could go ahead and get 2 games for $35." What do you think consumers are going to do?
This is my thought when it comes to that, and I'm gonna answer that question very, very quickly.
Okay.
I believe the game is gonna be delayed, right? And I know we
Yep.
have a state of play today, and I know it's podcast. We're doing the state of play because me and Attic has an ongoing knee bend the knee bet with this, right?
Right. Shout out to Attic. Right.
I believe God of War.
That's how you tell your true friends.
Yeah. I believe God of War is going to sell regardless of whenever it's released. It's
Oh yeah.
Digital allows instant purchase no matter what time of the day it is, right? No problem. You don't even have to get out your bed.
Right.
I feel tax season, and I think Nintendo has exploited tax season for getting, because when they launched the Switch during tax season, people didn't understand why it was selling like that. When people get income taxes, and I haven't had an income tax in like 25 years. I'm a business owner, so I'm always at a loss. It's disposable income for some.
Yes.
So, I got an extra $300. Let me go get this. Easy.
There's people that start betting on tax season back in October. You're like, I can't wait till tax season, right? Because they know they're going to get a check.
Looking.
I got you.
Yeah,
tax season, and Black Friday, and Cyber Monday. it's a hit. It's a hit, Jack.
David's calling them government games, is what he's calling.
and after Christmas, like the beginning of the year sales. I look at them. Listen. I get an income tax.
but this also stays in Sony's fiscal period, right? So they don't fall out of the fiscal period. We think, at the end of the year, the new year, it's over. They got to get it before. No, the fiscal period ends, I think, it's end of February, beginning of March, something like that. I got to look at it when it rolls out. But again, they still fall in line of the shareholders' bag. And that's all they're looking for. So when they can fall in there, it doesn't have to launch on November. It doesn't. There's no reason for them to reach Black Friday to take away money from potential sales.
Right.
Sell it at full price later on, so you don't get the discounts throughout the holidays, right?
That's
then
it.
bundle it with the console, after for the 6 months after that, and then you can sell plus with the console. Please, there's ways to make money, and there's ways not to lose money. And I think them launching it during this holiday season is losing money. I don't know. I think it's antiquated thought.
Thank you. Because on GRG, my panel, they at my throat, like they telling me, you know what I'm saying, look, Mega, you're wrong. I'm like, man, I'm just thinking as a consumer.
Yep.
Like this is a reason why Black Friday is so big for gaming and for everything else out there, because of the deals. You know what I'm saying? That's why people that do get those TLCs for $199, the TCLs or whatever.
TLCs, what do you call it? Tender loving care TVs.
Oh my God. But anyway, let me stop being messy. Okay, so let's get on to this other topic. Okay, so Ubisoft announced that they're going to start charging $70, not for Mirage. Mirage is $50, but they're going to start charging $70 going forward for their big AAA titles. So they've jumped on board, and I'm a huge Ubisoft fan. I would probably bet, when you look through my library of games, which is close to 800, I have tons and tons of Ubisoft games in there. I'm a big fan of Ubisoft, but I don't know, man. I'm going to go to you on this one, King. What do you think, man? I mean, is this a big mistake to already announce this now instead of until, like, let's just say for the game is called Code Red, which is going to be the big open world version of Assassin's Creed in Japan. Should they have made that decision around when, I guess, next gen game, the full next gen before it goes to old gen? Should they announce that around that time instead of doing this, or this is an overall big mistake for talking about capping for the $70 trend that's going on right now?
See, everybody wants me to blame Sony right now. They want me to, put the gun out and Sony did it. Sony's fault. Sony done got everybody needing a $70 game. Nope. The real blame is that the devil's in the details. You always got to follow the money.
Right.
I blame Tencent.
Was Tencent the first one to do that? Or
no, I'm blaming Tencent because of the money that they put inside Ubisoft.
That's right. I just thought about that. Yeah, I caught on to just.
You're talking about their take in the company.
Yeah, their stake into it. Yeah,
they're one of the biggest shareholders now, besides the majority shareholders, which is the family that owns Ubisoft that won't sell their majority stake to anyone. Right, so Tencent came in, definitely blocked Microsoft on, and I was very invested in that whole dealing, and because I had predicted, because I knew certain parts of Ubisoft was up for sale, if not the whole thing, but the family stood by the fact that they would never give the majority stake to anyone. And then, people came in and purchased little parts, and then Tencent came and purchased the largest part. This is a byproduct of that because you have to feed your shareholders, and your shareholders have voice. This is not done in a vacuum, right? I don't think Ubisoft, the family, the majority holders, would want to sell their games at that price point because they want their games to everyone, indicative of the last show that they had where they made sure from mobile to every way you can play their games, it was for everyone, right?
Yeah. Right.
So the $70, it's like a red herring, and you look over and you say, why? Why is that? I look over at Tencent. This is a reoccurring. You get your investment money that you put in right back really quickly, right? And this is how you do it. So, of course, I think not all money is good money, but again, I see why stuff has to happen. And people will blame Sony in this. This is not Sony. This is a Tencent type of thing, and this is a shareholder. This is why that happened. And I got to give a shout out to Dragonheart Yobi that's in the chat who shared this out to everyone. He's a great supporter, and I do appreciate
Oh, Dragonheart Yobi is fantastic. Yeah. He's a great guy. Love Yobi. Yobi's one of the best in the community, man. He's a great guy. Great guy. Now he's a vegan, but he's still a great guy.
Oh, I'm a pescatarian, so yes,
I know you. I know you are, but yeah, I'm still throwing shade. But yeah, you yes, yes, you best believe. Carnivore, anyway. But no, but yeah. But no, that's a great point. I didn't even I caught on to it when you first started to bring it up, and I'm like, oh, that's right. But no, I don't blame Sony at all either. I mean, I was going to go with like EA and 2K for kind of going ahead and starting exploiting it, and then of course Sony's just following suit. So let me, before I go to Don on this, how long do you feel before Xbox will go ahead and drop the gauntlet themselves? Never. That's the power of Game Pass, right?
Yep.
That's what you're thinking? Okay.
That their biggest shareholders is themselves.
Right.
They're beholden to themselves. So, when you're looking at Google and Apple and stuff like that, they kind of dance in their own lane, and their pricing model is based beneficial towards their ecosystem. To raise the price on a game that is actually free inside your Game Pass makes absolutely zero sense, because your whole thought process is really Game Pass. So you do want your games to be the lowest possible that they can be to reach the masses that don't have Game Pass. And then when they say that game was available day one inside Game Pass and I didn't have to pay the $60, are you serious? Cool. I'll go over there and I'll get Game Pass. So I think Game Pass staves that. They don't need to depend on that extra $10 to satiate the shareholders, where they can actually stave that off with Game Pass and get the volume up there. So
yeah, no, I was thinking the same thing. Oh, but before that, I'll say this: you and Yobi may live longer than me, but I will have more pleasure before I
Wait,
go.
wait. You think just eating that way makes us live longer?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean,
I'm just worried about the butt cancer, bro.
Oh, well, that part is true. Yeah, no, because I had
all
to
talk about mud butt.
Hey, I got mine checked a few months ago. So
No, I don't need to know that. We're close friends. We're not that close, man.
That was way too much.
Bro, you know what I'm saying? I mean, listen, I thought we was all friends here. Anyway,
that's too much. That's too much.
Next time I'm on a gaming party with him, he's gonna snap a glove. I'm like, oh man.
Don, it's your time.
The two finger pick. Yo, what's up?
Oh my God, y'all. Okay. Anyway, so what do you think, Don? You agree with David on this one, or do you have a different take? I mean, with the situation going on, I mean, are you going to start supporting and buying these games?
No.
At $70? Nope.
No.
What about you, David? Are you going to start supporting these games for $70 standard?
I'm gonna pick up that game. I'm not gonna lie. If it's something that piques my fancy, I can't lie. I'm gonna do it. I mean, I stand on my square for certain things, but you know, that game is something that I asked them to do. So if you want me to spend that $70, do what I asked.
And that's why they chose that game, because you're not alone, right? That's why they chose that game to make that move, right? I think it's just a losing strategy for them overall. Because one of the things that that's really not talked about from a publisher standpoint that needs to be part of the conversation more is the feeling you leave a customer with once you purchase a product. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that's important. So let's say someone spends $70 on a game, right? That was a little bit more investment than they should have done, right? Or they've done in the past, I should say. And they don't feel like they got their $70 worth. That's going to linger on the next Ubisoft product they're asked to purchase. They're going to think twice about that, right? And anytime you have a customer hesitate of possibly purchasing your product, that's not a good thing. So I think overall, will they make some money from it? Sure. In the short run, is this the game to do it on? Absolutely. But I think the long-term strategy as a publisher, I don't think it's a good strategy to have. You always want to lower the risk for the customer as much as possible. You as a publisher are trying to lower your risk. Why can't you relate to a gamer? Gamers trying to do the exact same thing. They're trying to lower their risk. They're trying to be entertained. They're trying to have fun. And if you just made that risk higher, you now have a customer thinking twice. And it's $70 for that. How much is it for the Shut Up edition? Right? Like, that drives that price up too, right? We're not talking about that. And it's why I don't think Sony's strategy, and I don't think Ubisoft doing this. I don't think it's going to last the generation. I think eventually they're going to have to bend the knee essentially, and go back to more traditional pricing. I don't think this is going to be the trend where the industry goes. And even Ubisoft somewhat question it, right? Because they have the whole Mirage game. They're like, we're gonna make it at $50, right? It's almost like they're testing the waters, right? Like, hey, we're gonna make a $70 game, we're making a $50 game. See what does better. You know what I mean?
Who really sells?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Is it better for us to maybe put less content in our product, right, and make it more a condensed product for $50? Is that give it a better return on our investment, or do we bloat? Ubisoft's known for having a lot of content in their stuff. Do we bloat up our product as much as possible, right, and raise the price, the base level price? And that's the debate I think that's internally happening within the company, and I think both these products are there to represent where the industry is going to go. I don't think they're fully decided. So,
yeah, no, that's a great point, both of you guys. For me, thank goodness for reward points. Because that's my scapegoat out of it. Because when people were asking me, see, I look at it from this standpoint. I don't have a problem if I'm paying for the Ultimate Edition, or as me and Don call it, the Shut Up Edition. Just give me all the content. I don't want to.
When he said the Shut Up Edition, I was like, wow, they got that?
Yeah.
It's like when you buy a product, they keep asking you, if you want this, you pay this much more. How about they just tell me how much I have to give you to just stop bothering me? Just let me play the game, right?
That's what they call the Shut Up Edition. Yeah, so But yeah, no. So we'll just do it like if they do, for those certain games that I like to get, like Midnight Suns. I'm very hyped for that. I'm gonna get the Ultimate Edition or the Shut Up Edition. Yeah. Because you gotta let people know how much I love it. But I also but I just can't get over the fact of you asking me to pay $70 for a game that will be on older hardware, or just $70 in general for a standard game. I just feel that way. So that's what I'm saying. Like the rewards, I'm like you, King. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get that game, but I gotta find an angle. I gotta find an angle to get out of it.
Had a price raise in like 20 years. Come
No.
on.
I know it. But you know what? I kind of like where we're at. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody wants the price raise.
Yeah, bro. I know, bro. You can't sit there and keep telling me that gaming is hitting a boom and y'all are getting record profit, but then yet you're trying to tell me that y'all broke, y'all poor, y'all got an outhouse. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that.
This is the devil's advocate part to it, right?
Let's go. Okay.
Back then, games didn't take as much resources as they do now. And we're pouring more money into these games that you love. So that $10 helps the developers actually get the funding to make these wonderful, wild, expansive world games. And I'm not an advocate for this, but I can understand the process and the thought in doing this.
You know how else you get funding on a game? You sell another game.
Yep.
Right. There's two different ways to go about it, right? Like either you raise the baseline and you sell less quantity, or you sell it at a lesser price and you make more quantity.
Yeah.
And then there's the rubber band effect, right? Like let's say you got more people playing your game because the barrier to entry is lower, right? Then you're in the ether a lot more, right? People are talking about your product a lot more. So there's a momentum that happens with that. And when you say, hey, the product's only $40 or the product's only $50, the product's only $60, it's a much easier conversation to have with somebody that's not a dedicated gamer as yourself, right? But when you start saying it's $70 and someone hasn't bought a game in 4 years, right? They're going to be like, what?
Wow.
What? $70 for a game? When
did that happen?
Exactly. So I'm not going to criminalize anyone that spends $70 on the game. That's their choice, right? Like let them have that. I get it. If you love a product, you go for it. Just like I don't really care if someone wants to buy the Shut Up edition of a game. They have to figure out if there's a net value for them as a customer. But that's why I'm saying I just don't know if it's a winning strategy in regards to that. And everyone's gonna decide what they want to purchase for what amount they want to do it at. So
I have one comparison where the thought process is the higher price is looked at as the superior product. Let's go to 2K football and Madden.
Well, you can use your statues as an example.
Well, yeah,
but right, because that's a more expensive product. There's less people that would purchase it, right? But that's premium shit, right? Comparison to something that just comes in a package in a game, right?
But perception wise, this is the only thing that I'm thinking about, like perception wise, because I'm still trying to wrap my head around the $70. But perception wise, and we lived through this already. Remember when 2K or the product lines of 2K was $19.99?
Yeah.
And that was pro-consumer, 100% around the boards. And EA stood firm on their stance of $49.95, right? And it was looked at as a superior product. But in hindsight, the better product was the $19.99 product. Right. But the consumers, when they went to the store and they saw the prices and they saw the disparity in the two, they said, something has to be wrong with this one, where they're selling it as bargain basement prices, and this one has to be the superior product.
How much price deficit do you think you need for that sort of thought process to occur?
$20.
$20.
Yeah, I'll say $20 to $30.
So do you think they need to raise their games to $80 to get that perception?
Ooh,
They might.
I'm not suggesting it. I'm just asking. I'm just
Sony
asking.
said that they weren't. I mean, I'm just saying.
I'm asking
Sony
for a friend.
that they ain't. Yeah.
I don't like your friend.
For real, your friend needs to go somewhere. But I do got to do some pushback on what your devil's advocate right here point, because listen, I get that you're over here telling me about so many resources, but how about you spend more money on beta testers and so we don't have as many bugs? Or how about you put some of those resources into not having games be delayed or broken when they come out at launch because of that? So you can't hustle me and tell me that, oh well, this is why we have to do this $10 when we have been in a position to where we've seen more games broken than I think we've ever seen in our history of gaming, and we're all around the same age.
So you're saying a better experience outside of just graphics.
Right. Yeah, so. Graphically, of course, it's way more advanced, and then of course the technology with the consoles and things like that. But the games themselves, they have become more almost diluted in a sense of sometimes content and of innovation, because of the fact that they're trying to push prettier graphics or something of that nature. And I don't understand. Like, listen, I can understand if you're trying to do any and everything, like when Microsoft's first vision of Crackdown 3. Yeah, that's innovation. That's crazy. If you said, okay, we're going to charge $70 for that, I'm going to look at you kind of crazy, but I'm going to say, okay, I've never seen anything like this. So therefore, I'm going to give you a chance on this. I'm going to give you a chance. But because it didn't happen, and now you're trying to sell me the Crackdown 3 that did release for $70, I'm gonna tell you hell no. So that's how I look at it in a perception. Like, I mean, it's
for innovation, but you won't pay for sameality. All right.
Right. Yeah, that's my pushback on that. I look, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna have to get to our last topic because I'm pretty sure that PlayStation show is about to start.
So starts at 6 o'clock. I got that.
Okay. Oh, okay. Cool. All right, but my point on this for myself, I'm excited. I love those the last versions of the Assassin's Creed. Love them. I played, beat them all, beat all the DLCs, all that. But I can't get over that $70, man. It just for a standard, and I know like Dom was saying, the bloat and all that. I know that game's going to give me so much content, and that was probably maybe pushed me over to say, okay, because I know that I'm going to get a lot of content, a lot of bang for my buck. I'm all about the value, but it just seems like to me is that you're trying to force this on consumers in a time when you're not looking at what's going on across the world, not only in just the United States, but across the world, where there could be recessions in certain countries. You know what I'm saying? And of course, like inflation and all this. I just think that, if you want to try to do this, wait until we get fully into next gen, at least a year or two in, where we ain't have to worry about last gen anymore. That's just my perception.
I'm with you.
Okay. All right, let's get to it. The last point, and now my emotions is gonna run wild when we talk about Halo. My emotions. But Bonnie Ross, she made it official that she is leaving 343 Inc. I myself has always capped for 343. I've always capped for Bonnie Ross. I'm always been a person that loves inclusion, that loves to see women in powerful positions, for people of color in powerful positions. I love it. I want it. I want more inclusion in video gaming. And to see that, it broke my heart. I don't know. I've never met Bonnie. Now I've met Kiki. And she's a sweetheart. And you know what I'm saying? And shout out to her for saying #SaveLock to me. That was wonderful. But I've never met Bonnie, but I can tell you just from so I don't know what her temperament is or how she operates. But one thing that I do know that she filled a lot of shoes, and she saved Halo. She saved it. Maybe, because Gearbox was looking to want to pick them up and all of that. And yes, she's made mistakes, things like that, but what company doesn't? I mean, I'm going to get more into it after I hear you guys give y'all's point, but it did infuriate me and made me really sad to see that she left, and that the community, I felt, helped push her out the door. So I'm gonna go to you on this one first, Don. Your thoughts. Do you think that it was the right move for Bonnie to leave because of the situation that's going on with Halo Infinite? Do you feel that she's mostly at fault, or do you feel like it's a little bit of a combination of more than just her? Where are you at on this whole situation?
Well, I mean, based on the premise of her leaving for family stuff, when anytime someone says that, people will always jump to one conclusion or another. But when someone has something like of that and they put it out in the ether, I'm always going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say you did the right move for yourself and your family. I know she's where she's worked in the industry, she's financially secure. I'm not I'm not worried about her on the sort of side.
Oh,
As far as that goes, but far as like the negative stuff that has happened with Halo Infinite, she does share part of the blame, right? I mean, everyone does, right? No one's escapes, right? Everybody from the fans to the good that happens in Halo and the bad. We all share a part of it, right? Good and bad. So that's the fans, that's the people, the contract workers, that's the people that are work there full time, that's the management, all that sort of stuff. And now, obviously, blame kind of floats, upstream on this particular thing, and they're the ones in charge in regards to that. So if the rumors are led to be true that there was some miscommunication where it seems like early on in development that they had so much of an issue of everyone's kind of seen being the yes man. Everyone's saying, "Oh, the game's fine. We're on track. We're on record." That's what it seemed like it was happening. Everyone just shares a little bit of blame in that. It could have been her management style. It could be they just didn't want to disappoint her because she is a nice person. It could be that. It could be a lot of things in regards to that. And she definitely had a full plate in regards to that. And that leads up managing a pie where like maybe that much stuff on her plate was probably not the right move to do to her, like not okay, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of things that come into play, and then there's some issues right now that persist with current management that exists at the company, which is basically the technical debt that they have, where all the shortcuts they had to take to release a product is causing issues down the pipeline of continuously releasing product now, and that's the reason why we're going 2 years out. We're going to maybe be content complete on the product. And that falls, on Joe's shoulders. So I mean, it's unfortunate. I know she founded the company. She did a lot of good in the industry. I mean, she helped heal that rift in Bungie. Bungie had a huge rift, and people don't realize this. Bungie was kind of coming apart at the seams. Prior to that split off between 343 in that, because certain people were starting their own studios and pulling big groups out and starting their own thing. There were people basically wanted to work on Halo, they didn't want to work on Destiny. Some people loved the idea of working on a new IP, right? And so there was a big creative rift that happened, and the option she
that
brought
makes sense why some of those people left. I mean, stayed.
There's a good chunk of them that are they're Bungie employees that came to 343, right? Because they love the franchise. And it's not that they hate what Bungie's doing now or anything like that. It's just not where they wanted to put their efforts. So I think at the end of the day, she took a situation which, she made the best of the situation at the time. And I think she was put in an unfair situation of too much on her plate in regards to that, and that's obvious, I think, more now. But at the end of the day, she also shares responsibility for some of the negatives, but she doesn't deserve all the blame. She's not a scapegoat, in regards to that. Everyone shares some sort of blame on all this, so, for whatever it's worth. So,
where are you at on this one, King?
Okay. I met Bonnie.
Oh, nice.
I'm a little close to the situation. So like how do I preface this? When I heard the news, I actually heard the news, and I was composing my tweet. I'm disappointed. I can start with disappointment first, right? Before I even address that situation. I'm disappointed where I can put out a random, stupid, toxic tweet that will get 100K views. And when I say when I'm telling you I'm being toxic, I'm trolling. I'm trolling.
Right. No,
out of somebody, and I will get 100K views on it from everyone. And I know that you've seen it because I can get that on bullet. When I sent out this tweet for Bonnie, I don't even think it hit 1K. Right? I got 10K subscribers, 10K plus.
Yeah.
It didn't even hit 1K. That means that you read the tweet and was like, hmm. You don't ever kick a person when they're down.
No.
You don't. My disappointment is not for Twitter itself. My disappointment is for my peers. I saw my peers, and you guys know exactly who you are, rival and revel in someone's pain. Okay? And it disgusts me on a level that, trust me, how you disappointed me shows your character. Now, I must say I pulled the coattail of somebody that I find very dear to me because I really love this guy and I love the stuff that he do. But I pulled him back off that ledge because something that he posted, I said, no. No. And he deleted it. And we talked in the background because I think when you have some type of when age, you're supposed to have some type of wisdom, right? And you're supposed to impart that on the youth. You're supposed to. That is our job. We're supposed to sherpa them through life so they don't make the same pitfalls that you've made. So I did that, and he understood because I tried to do it in the most non-threatening way possible, right? We are all humans, and we have to show some level of humanity. She went out to do a job. She is a Microsoft lifer.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, she headed up 343. I love the Bungie Halos. I liked liked a lot of the 343 Halos, and I was hoping that Infinite would have been that I love it moment. I loved it from the single player standpoint, and I love some of the multiplayer stuff. I think a lot of her stuff that was on her plate was a bit excessive. All right, and being the face of the visceral, I mean that heavy is the head that wears the crown. We know this, but that doesn't mean that the blame is all one individual's. As we start digging deeper into the subject, we found out that they had per diem workers that were there for like 6 months at a time and then leave the project, and then somebody else will come in and take over. So you have to get those people up to speed to get to something, a product of this magnitude that changed over a period of time, that changed engines, that changed thought processes. Are we going to put the forge together? Or are we going to separate the multiplayer? You put this individual in a can't win situation, but wanted her to win. Now, the toxic Twitter people, yeah, you got your pound of flesh. Shut up. It got deafening to the point that you don't ever call for someone's job. You don't ever do that. But mitigating circumstances will bring that to bear. I wish her completely well. I love the memories that she did bring to the Halo franchise. And as a Spartan, as a true Spartan, you start the mission. Not everybody's going to finish the mission, but you will be respected for your service in the mission. So when is the respect going to be given? And I just don't feel that the respect is given to somebody that worked as hard as she did. and she did. Such a nice person.
Well,
so I was completely disappointed.
I mean, add to your point, like, have you ever heard her throw anyone under the bus?
No.
That's true leadership. And I'm gonna say that regardless if you like how the outcome of the product turned out or whatever it may be, or people may disagree with her internally at the studio, she didn't go out in public and throw people under the bus. I can't say that for all leadership out there in the industry.
Yep.
In regards to that, that shows her character. In regards to that, she showed an option for people to want to work on Halo. Gave them a real option in regards to that. So I mean, no one's perfect at their job, and I don't want to make it about that or anything like that. But I think she just always got the raw end of the deal of really where I think the industry doesn't talk or engage enough with the gamers.
Yeah.
And so what ends up happening is that limited engagement when there's emotions are high, right? They look for the first thing they can throw stones at, and in regards to that, and I think she was a byproduct of that, and I don't know. It just sucks to hear that she has to leave on these terms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, so I'm gonna go there because me, you guys know me. I am not holding back because I'm feeling exactly how you felt. I was sad yesterday. Like I said, I don't know the woman personally, but I do know of what she's brought to the table with Halo. And for me, as I'm one of the biggest cappers for Halo 5, giving me a strong black protagonist that acts like Master Chief. He's stern, he's quiet. Now you know what I'm saying? He just don't wear a mask. You know what I'm saying? But
put the helmet on.
Yeah. But the fact of it is that when people say, "Oh, well, Chief," Locke is boring. What? Chief is boring. You know what I'm saying? 343 made Chief humanized Chief. You know what I'm saying? 343 has brought us some of the.
That didn't happen until 4, right? That didn't happen until she was involved at some sort of level, right? She may have not made the decisions, maybe brought people in to make those decisions, right?
Right.
I don't know.
But this is where I'm going to go deep on that because I was about to go on my Locke rant, but I'm not.
Go ahead.
Let me get off of that. Thank you for saving me for that. But the community is sickening, and I feel 343 will not get to their full potential until they make the game they want to.
Mm-hmm.
Forget listening to both my side, me and Don's side on it, to King David's side, to 108, to Yobi, to you know what I'm saying, for anybody else out there that loves the 343 budget. Stop listening to everybody else, because you know what makes Naughty Dog great? Because they do what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And people will adjust to like it. And if they don't, they'll still buy the game the next generation. That's what it's about. They've been pulled and yanked by one end or the other because they're trying to listen to the community, and the community always spits in their face by saying it's still not good enough. I can tell you as many times as a person who loves Battlefield, who's bought every Call of Duty. Not every multiplayer from COD is better than is just as good as the last game. Sometimes the story modes is not as good as the previous or your favorite. But the problem is with Halo, though, even though that's in a sense because Halo was so dynamic, that's a good thing. But it's problematic because of the fact people want Halo to remind them of when their best Halo moment was. And that just doesn't happen. You can't compare a movie like if you went and seen Endgame, or you seen let's just say Endgame, and then you watch the Eternals and think that you're still going to get the same type of excitement. It just doesn't happen that way. So yes, if you didn't like Halo 5, if you didn't like Halo 4's multiplayer, that goes with any other thing that's out there in gaming that we played that you just didn't like all the iterations for that. But to crucify everybody at 343 because of it is asinine. It's and to the point to where you're so brutal to these people that they can't listen to your to even normal people's complaints about what they want to have changed or get fixed, they got so many of these toxic people coming in there and just disrespecting and shutting everything down to where I hope they do have cauliflower ears and can't hear anything and say, look, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what Joseph Staten's going to do. You know what I'm saying? But I hope what he did start saying is, look, we're going to do it our way. That's it. That's it, period. Because at this point, I don't care. I just want them to make the best game that 343 can make with and forget about the outside noise. Because if you're a true Halo fan, you will be there. If you're not, then you'll just hush your mouth and you'll go on and you'll start complaining about the next issue. Because that's exactly what happened. And I feel that Bonnie not being there is going to be a huge loss. I know that some people, you know what I'm saying, I think it will. And you know what I'm saying? And just think about from what, you know, what I was told, that she, for her one job, 3 people has filled it in. 3 people. Think about that. Think about that. And anybody else that wants to come out there and be so disrespectful, what if somebody comes and disrespects you and demand you get fired when they don't know how to do your job or what's going on behind the job? That's why I have the biggest problem about that. And then my last point on it is that I think everybody's to blame. I do feel that Bonnie needs to get some of the blame for sure. Phil needs to get the blame. Matt Booty needs to get some blame. Who all the way down, except the devs, because the devs only do what they're told to do. But other than that, everybody in the community is. I say the community is number one, because everybody's trying to cater to the community, and even though that's a beautiful thing, but the community is not showed the same grace or respect that everybody else has been trying to do to listen and try to pull the game together. Because like I told Don, I said the best way for them to make the best Halo multiplayer is to kind of blend what they've done with Halo 5 and blend some of what they've done with Bungie's Halo. And they did that. That just shows you the greatness of 343. Like, how can you do, like, that's amazing. Like, you sit there. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of the old style aesthetic, but to match with what they've done to still give you that kind of feel, like as if you was a Halo 5 or a Halo 4 multiplayer fan, and then you still feel it and it still got that old nostalgia feel as well, that is great development work. But people still ripped it. And and listen, rightfully so for the content, because they should have known better. And that's why I say you blame, if you want to, if that's Phil's fault or Matt Booty's fault or Bonnie Ross's fault or whoever, that the content wasn't ready. But the point of that's fine. But for everything else to be in glee and happiness about this woman losing her job, it's disgusting in my. So, okay.
I don't think anyone here's going to argue on.
I had to let it out.
We all know her at a different level, right? Like, King knows her more of a ground level in regards to that. I know from my contacts, 343, in regards to that indirectly that way. And I think we all know it from the public perception and what people say about people in regards to that. And it's rough. It's rough to watch. I don't think. I'm sure the community had some weight on, like a finger on the scale or anything like that. But
absolutely.
I would hope that wasn't the only reason why things went the way that it did. So.
What makes it even sadder is the fact that, like, we didn't know anything about her having a family issue. No. And then people was questioning that, like, oh, well, you're lying because you got fired. Like, and then people got mad because they were like, why did I get blocked? Now is not the time. Come on.
But, here's the thing. Like, anytime when someone has health or family, just take them at their word. If you're wrong, you're wrong on the right side of things. If that makes any sense, right? You're right on the wrong side of things.
Yeah, asking people to have integrity.
Well, yes. I ask for that all the time. I don't get what I want, so.
Yeah, but see, that's That's
true.
People with integrity understand it, right?
Yeah.
People without integrity don't grab the concept. So
Right.
again, you're speaking on to deaf people or people that just want to be seen. This is not that time.
No, it's not. Not. It's a dark day for 343 and Microsoft, in my opinion. It is.
You lost a lifer.
Yes. 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 You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I just felt, I was just so down. I just felt so. I just sat there and just played NBA 2K. It just kind of like was in my zone, didn't want to be bothered. Just like, you know what? And like I said, I don't know the woman personally, but you just kind of, there seems to be like this whole, you can just tell like when people seem to come off, because like if you don't know them, they just come off to seem like they're genuine, they're nice people. She never, like Don said, never threw anybody under the bus. Never.
She always took that on her shoulders.
Yeah, she took it on her shoulders. She took it on the chin. So
that's a champ, right? Like, in regardless of how you feel about decisions made, like, as somebody that's running his own company, has been put in management against my will, you know what I mean? Several times over. Like, I respect anyone that can hold that management role and do the right things, like the unspoken things that are not in, you don't see HR about, right? Like, you just do it because that's part of your character, part of who you are, and I'll always respect those. And then people that do not step up to the plate, I hold them in the biggest disregard. You know what I mean? And so, but credit where credit's due. She didn't throw people under the bus. She tried to smooth things over in the industry by bringing 343 into fruition. She helped Bungie. She helped. I mean, if you think about it, like let's say they sold to the guys that do Borderlands, right? Gearbox. Let's say they sold to them. Would we actually even got Borderlands? Or would Halo just overshadow that? Or the alternative, Borderlands took off the way it is and they don't see any value in Halo anymore. You don't think about these consequences, right? So, like, it's, you may not like, it's just like liking a certain artist of anything, right? Like, you may not like their latest album, doesn't take away from the other stuff they've done, you know what I mean? At least they're still trying and they're still putting it out there. You're better off doing that. So I wish her the best of luck in regards to that. And honestly, thank you for all the good times. I mean, that's all I can say.
Yep, and I think she'll be a lot less stressful, just like you know what I'm saying, girl Shannon Lofton. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what I'm saying. So that's she was a really cool lady too. I got to talk to her, not all the time, but especially about politics. But anyway, man, this was great. The conversations was fire. I loved it. How'd you like it, Don? What'd you think about it, man? What'd you think about today's show, man? Having a guest and all, and
it's a good thing. I think we got a thing where we don't talk over one another here. We try to be respectful of one another, regardless of difference of views. I don't think you're gonna find too many different views amongst this group, though. In regards to that, but. No, David, it was a pleasure having you on, man. You're always welcome. Stay in the Discord, that sort of thing. And then if you get a wild hair, just hit up me or Mega, and we'll be more than happy to bring you on. So,
yeah, no doubt.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It was fantastic. Great meeting you.
Oh, thank you.
It felt like a campfire talk.
Yeah.
You sit down with your buddies, having a beer,
yeah.
But roasting some s'mores.
He said s'mores.
S'mores. Yo, you haven't had a s'more as an adult?
Yeah, no, not an adult.
Oh, K-Mega's got sticky fingers, man.
Oh yeah, as a kid, yeah, I'm a country boy. I mean, that was life. But I mean, I haven't ate any s'mores as an adult. No.
Okay, so real quick, we do this thing with it's a statue group, it's a statue collectors group, and we go to my boy Tim's house. he takes us back to when we were 12 years old. We roasting s'mores on the campfire. It's the craziest thing in the world. 30 big grown men roasting s'mores. I swear, I felt like I was 12 years old. Where I took it off. He has the sticks and he has you build your own s'mores and everything. Fantastic stuff. So
man,
yeah,
that does sound like a blast though.
But I had a blast, and that's what it felt like today. I had a blast, and I love catching up with meeting new people and catching up with old friends, and that's exactly what we did. And I can't wait to come back on again. And this is fantastic. I'm gonna make sure I share it out to everyone.
Oh yeah, no
Appreciate
doubt. Yeah, we'll put this on my channel here later on tonight. But yeah, man. But thank you guys so much. And like I said, I'm trying to get my boy Don get his channel up. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was an honor to have you on, David, man. So before you go, one more time, let people know where they can find you at. All that. Talk about the crew, all of that. Shout out to Cognito, Sovereign, to Addict, all the team out there doing big things, man. Let us know.
Thank you. Sundays, Iron Lords podcast, 1 p.m. We're going up against football, so please help us. And lordsofgaming.net. I'm not going to go too much into of exactly what we got going on, but when you go to lordsofgaming.net, all the stuff is in the thumbnails. Same thing with the YouTube channel, Iron Lords Podcast, and we're on Spotify, Instagram. We're on TikTok, baby. Which is kind of crazy, and it's funny to see myself pop up while I'm doing my TikToks. It's just weird, but it's just fantastic stuff. But that's where you can find us at.
Right. And Don, where can they find you at, brother?
The best thing you can do is just follow me on Twitter. All my YouTube channels are going to be listed on there. Doing streaming on a dedicated YouTube channel. I have content going on a regular YouTube channel. And just building up the studio here so I can bring out content a little bit more regularly for everybody, and it's happening. It's a little slower than I wanted to. Things get delayed, things like that. But I also have to develop my game on the back end of everything. So the YouTube content gets it gets the back seat. But look for more. More is going to be coming soon. So.
And as for me, you can check me out on my channel, KMega405. You can see me with this knucklehead down at the bottom. I don't know where the thing is. I don't know who's at the bottom. Is it David at the bottom or Don?
No, you're at the bottom. On here. I'm on top.
I'm on. Oh, Lord,
I'm on top.
Anyway.
And then David's over to the right.
Oh man, no. From where my angle is, you at the bottom. But anyway, I'm on the top bunk, sucker. But anyway, check us out, GRG Friday nights, and next podcast coming up here Thursday on Xbox 448's channel. And of course, I do fight nights, sports nights going to be coming here pretty soon. And last but not least, man, I'm going to stream my very first single player game coming up here sometime next month. So it might be Gotham Knights. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's co-op, isn't it?
Yeah.
I might have to pick that up.
Check that out.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, and then so hopefully, and then whatever else that's be planning down the road, I'm definitely going to do it. I ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? I'm here. You know what I'm saying? So it's good. But thank you guys, man, so much for watching live. And thank you. Everybody have a good night, a good day, good day, whatever night, wherever you're at. Enjoy yourself. Peace.